I want to bring together researchers and practitioners in what I think is an unusual, particularly open, focused, and productive way. People who are funders, people who are doing technical research, et cetera. I want to sort of bring our knowledge base together, or bring our needs together, help people understand what each other's highest value questions are, and bring practitioners up to date on what the research is and how we should interpret it. What is it that we need to resolve between ourselves and can resolve, and what do we agree on? What's the point of spending a lot of time talking about things we already agree on, or we agree don't have a high value? Okay, there's a belief elicitation session. Ideally, and this is ambitious, we want to state and measure our beliefs openly within the group now and through the asynchronous follow-up, driving hopefully high value Bayesian updating and ultimately better choices and better decisions. Obviously that's our goal. And I think we're very well aligned here to try to actually drive better choices, particularly over interventions and funding in low-income countries. Now let's talk about the focus, because it's a bit different than the focus of, let's say, other well-being workshops you may have been to. So the focus here is, what are the best ways to measure and compare the relative benefits and cost effectiveness of different interventions, particularly thinking about well-being, interventions involving different outcomes? How do the approaches we might use compare? What are some practical guidance, and what are our next steps? Focusing on things like bed nets versus short cognitive behavioral therapy sessions in lower middle income or low income countries in often in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, cash transfers, etc. Now, one also difference is we're not trying to set a firm scientific precedent necessarily. Policymakers need to make choices now and want to know what their best options are, and want to have the most informed information about that. So we don't want to say, don't know. I mean, yes, we want to express how much uncertainty we have. And we're also not focusing on questions you might have seen in a lot of other well-being work, the sort of very interesting and perhaps deep questions about human behavior, as well as comparisons. Now here I'm getting a bit controversial. I'm hoping that we can agree on some premises, or at least maintain them for now. Well-being is an important goal, but we might disagree about how measurable it is. Self-reports carry some information. They're probably not totally uninformative. Therefore, finding evidence that they correlate to some things is perhaps not enough on their own to recommend them. But on the other side of the coin, we probably can agree that these extreme representative agent assumptions will be violated in some way. So showing a violation will not be highly informative to us or to policymakers. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail here, but so what we're worried about is what measurement approaches lead to better decisions and how much the violations matter. And now here, I don't have time to get into this, but we'll cover this throughout the workshop. There are these different potential violations. I'm particularly worried about nonlinear scale use, and I'd like to see some links to the sort of gold standards that I haven't seen a lot, but heterogeneous scale use we'll also talk about. I guess what we could agree on here is that at least some of these are potentially important, even though they may not be empirically important. But we also want to shift out which of these are particularly important to the case that we're discussing here. Some of them might be actually less important, like scale shifters might not affect comparisons between interventions in LMICs in using RCTs. Here's some discussion. I think we can try to maintain good epistemic norms throughout this and good focus, not trying to win the argument, but trying to achieve value here.